Hello and welcome to today's video. Today I'll be teaching you the basics of assembly and how you would use it. So let's get right into it. First things first, let's see how do we even get into assembly. To do that, go into Start, click Mechanical Design, and then instead of Power Design, which you often press, you press Assembly Design. And that is assembly. We got new commands. Fresh new commands, some you already know of, and some completely new. Now, the first things first, what you need to learn is how do I even place new things into assembly. Let me just rename it. Let's just rename this into assembly test. Apply and okay. So in assembly, you can just add multiple parts and configure them, connect them, and other things. Now, how do I even put parts in? This is how you do it. You find your product structure tools command list. And the only command that we need is this one, add existing component. You press it and then you need to know where you want to add it. You want to add it into assembly test. Why do you have to select assembly test? That's because you can have multiple assemblies in one assembly. So you can have many. Now I've made 3 different parts. The basic parts that I've made is a screw, a nut, and a plate where we can put our screw in. This is the simplest way to show the basics of how to manipulate. Let's place all 3 of them in. A command that I want to show you is first in the move section. Now we don't need this anymore. We can put it down here. Oops. Let's put it right over here. Let's use explode. You can select explode, and what it basically does is just make everything explode and go into different directions so you can see what you put in the screen. So you need to select all things that you're going to explode, which is this. Apply. And okay. Are you sure you want to modify the product positions? And now it exploded the nut, the plate, and the screw. And now we can see what we have. I wanted to show you this just so you can know how this works. Most of the times you will not do it like this. You would do it in a different way. You would just, let me delete everything that we've put in. You would select add existing component, assembly. You would add the first component you're going to use. That is the screw. And then you would just go again, add another component, which is the nut, and now we want the nut to be connected with the screw. Let's show you the constraint commands. So the first one is coincidence constraint. So let me show you what exactly it does. Now, to show you better how that functions, let me just move something again. Let's use this command, which is called manipulation. It basically makes you be able to move whatever part you want in whatever direction you want. Even if you want to rotate it, that's also possible. Control Z to get back to the last thing you've done so you don't have to see it like that. So, for instance, this is mostly used so you can find the axis. Right now, these 2 components are not in the same axis. They have 2 separate axes, as you can see, and once you make them into a coincidence, they will move into the same axis. They're together again. That's mostly what coincidence is used for. You can also use it as a contact constraint. So let me also show you this. Now that we've done this, you can see these little constraints. That's the coincident constraint. They will be made in the constraints bar in our little tree right here. So be sure to look at this because sometimes you can maybe add multiple same constraints and it's going to say, give you a little yellow triangle saying that's a little bit of a mistake. You're confusing CATIA. We can't really go on because of that little error. Now, as I've said, you can use coincidence constraint as a contact constraint. What does contact do? Let's say we want to move this to be exactly here. We can select our contact constraint, select our, this is a face, and our second face, it says select a geometric element to place in contact with the first element, and now they're in contact. Now we do not see any change, but that's because we have this little button right here, update. This button makes it so you can update everything. Now that once we update it, we can see the change. This and this is in the same spot, they're in contact. Now you can use that command, but most people use coincidence because, let me just delete surface contact. As you can see, is also here. It's showing that we need to update if we want to see what happened. You can use coincidence as well with this. Go here and here. You'll get all of this. It's not important, really. You don't need to change anything here. Just say OK. And CATIA will automatically understand that you want them to be in contact. Let's say you don't want to be in contact. Let me just say delete this coincidence. Let's say you just want them to be offset at a different distance. That's the third command, offset properties. Now you can offset how far away they can be. So from here to here, it is 30 millimeters. As you can see, actually it's 35. And if we make it 10, it's gonna get closer. Let's select it. As you can see, that is how it worked. Now let's get back again. Let's just have a normal view so we can see this a little bit better. Let's use manipulation. Select the Z coordinate to move it up and down, move it down. And let me show you the angle constraint. Angle constraint can be used in different ways. You can make faces to go on an angle or axis. Let's use axes because it's much simpler to understand. Oops. They're in the same axis. As you can see, that was a little error that says that they're in the same axis. Let me just cancel out this and destroy this coincidence because it merged this axis and this axis together. Now we can use angle, select this one and this one. They're not the same axis and we did not get the error message. Now we can select an angle. Let's say 45 degrees. Let's see what happens when we do that. It moved this 45 degrees. Now the axes are at 45 degrees, the little angle. Now let's go just undo everything and let me show you one thing. So this moved. Let's say we wanted this to move on a 45-degree angle. What we can use is the anchor command or the fix command. So basically it says select the component that you want to fix. That means we've selected our screw. It's basically locked, it cannot move. If we move it somewhere, it's gonna go back in the same place. So that means we will not touch this, we will only touch this. So if we select our angle command, select this axis and this axis, select it to be 45 degrees. Now let's update it. You can see that our nut has changed the angle, not this. I'll keep our fix command right here. And next up we have some of these, which we really don't need to use. Quick constraint just adds constraints. Flexible widget is used for some complex bodies. And change constraints just so you can change constraints and replace it with another one. Let's go back to move and I want to show you snap mode. You also have a sub bar here and you can see smart move. Smart move makes you move it into a 3D space. And it's also snap mode, which is just snapping things together. I don't really like to use that. Let me just say Control Z, get it back. I like using snap because I can select this plane and this face and it's snapped right together. The only problem with this is that we do not get a constraint from that. So if I go into move again and I move this back down, I don't get an update bar. Let me show you the difference. Let me make a constraint. This and this needs to be in a constants. Okay, now it's in a constants and we are updated. Now if I move this down, okay, it says you can update it again. Even the constraint says you can update it. This little icon here. So let's update it and it's gonna put it right back on where it was. So that's what a constraint does. It fixes it together. You can move it and manipulate it, but you'll go back again. This command I'm not gonna even show you because it's kind of useless. Just says stop manipulate on clash. So if two bodies clash, they will stop manipulating. So you can't manipulate them, they're just gonna stop instead of going through each other. That's pretty useless. So let's add our third element. First things first, let me just delete this fix and this coincidence. We don't need those constraints. Let's go into add existing component into assembly, and we want our little plate. So as you can see, we've made 3 holes here, and we've added, let me just move this so we can see a little bit better. Move this up. And now we want this to go inside, and we want the nut on the bottom. So let me show you how you would do that. You could do it in a couple of different ways using snap mode, but we want the constraints. So because maybe we have other elements and everything's gonna move around, and that's gonna just make problems. So let's select our coinstance first and align the axes. They're aligned. Let's do the same thing with a little nut, and it's connected with this axis. It's not really important right now with which one we're doing it, but for now it is. Now we can use constraint. We want this to go all this face and this face to be touching. So they're touching. And we want this, thankfully it moved down, did not stay inside of this. We want this to touch this. So let's select again. Coinstance, oh, we can use contact as well. It's pretty much the same. Contact and constants on that. There we go. You basically added a screw to this plate. Now let's say we don't want to add so we want to add another screw and a bolt to these two sides. A way you can do that is adding an existing component and literally adding another screw. And now it's going to be added as screw point 2. And we could just do everything again. Just repeat everything again. Let's say we don't want that. This is the command we can use. Reuse pattern. So basically, you can reuse your pattern. This right here, let me show you the plate. Let me show you the sub bar here. This is a pattern that I've used. I made one hole here, and I've just used a rectangular pattern and copied it 2 times on this. This was not made by using another hole command and another hole command, making it here, another one here, another one. We just use pattern. Let's say you had to make 100 holes. You're not going to do it one by one. You're going to use pattern. So this is why reuse pattern uses pattern. You cannot just use regular holes. I hope that makes sense. So we select the pattern we want to reuse, and then we have to select the component to initiate. We cannot select multiple components, sadly. We can select only one. So let's select our screw. So select the pattern, the component that to be instantiated, or a constraint linking on a pattern element. So we've selected our element. We're going to apply it, and okay, we have our little screws, but we do not have our nuts. So we want to do the same thing with our nuts. So let's reuse this. So we can even select this. We don't have to select the holes on this. We can just select our pattern. We cannot select anything else. It does not let us. We can only select this. And let's select our element, which is going to be the nut. There's no constraints between them, because we would have to copy the constraints as well. And that's the basics. Alright, let me just show you one common mistake people can make. So, let's save this. We want to save it in our document where the parts are. It's not really that important where we save it, but it's best for it all to be together. So, if I go back to downloads and parts, and let me just get out of here, and I move this document, one document, like the screw. If I move it somewhere on my desktop and go back in to CATIA, open up our assembly, we're gonna get a little error message saying that we've lost a component. As you can see, we don't have the screws. The bolts are still there, the nuts, the plate's still there, but the screw is, that's because we've changed its location. We can go to desk and easily find it again. It's pretty easy. So as you can see, we have our assembly and all the 3 main parts. And it says we can right click it and just say find where it's at. So it's on my desktop somewhere down here, screw. And now it's back in. We can exit this part and there we go. It's back again. So that's a common mistake people make. Be sure to watch out for that. Do not make that mistake. If they're all in the same folder, it shouldn't be a problem, but if you move them to different locations, it's gonna be a problem. We are done with this video. This is a short video to just show you the basics of assembly, how every command that is gonna be used in 90% of the cases works, and a practical showcase on how you would use that command. I hope this helped. I hope you learned something new. If you did, please like the video. Maybe subscribe if you can't wait for another video of mine to come out. Comment if you'd like to have help with a different topic. I can easily make a new video on that topic. And that is all from me today. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you later. Bye bye.